What's up, guys? Nichols here, the Advantage Players. I'm up here in Deadwood, South Dakota, the beautiful Black Hills, which I would show you, but it's 1 a.m. It's kind of dark out. Hopefully that security guy doesn't roll back around here and ask what I'm doing. Anyways, so I wanted to talk a little bit about how to handle losing, especially when you're playing with an advantage. And you go in, you expect to win, you expect to make some money, hopefully at least cover your travel expenses and lodging. But we all know that doesn't always happen. I think most of you watching this and most of the people out there are familiar with card counting, so I want to talk about specifically with blackjack. No matter how good you are, no matter how solid your count is, no matter how many index plays you know, no matter what your bet spread is, no matter how great the game was, stand 17, double deck, late surrender, whatever, you're gonna lose, and you're gonna lose a lot. We're playing for a long-term gain. We're not playing for one session. And that's a tough mindset for most people to get out of, I think. Because most gamblers, like most of us, when we start gambling, we start thinking about, oh, I'm up 100 today, or I'm up $50, or I'm down this much, or I'm stuck 300, or whatever it may be. And that's not really the right way to look at it. The right way to look at it is, how many hours did I get in? How much EV did I generate? And then maybe look at how much actual value you got. But that being said, we're human beings and we don't like losing money. We especially don't like losing large amounts of money. It hurts. It hurts our bankroll, whatever. It hurts us mentally. So first thing, when you've had a big losing session or you're on a losing streak, or just in general, make sure your skills are sharp. Look back and think about any mistakes you may have made. Tonight, I didn't plan on playing blackjack, but I ended up playing blackjack, and I'm pretty sure I missed an index play. I'm pretty sure I missed a 12 versus 3 where I should have stood instead of hit, but I hit and I busted, and that's something I need to work on. I need to go back and I need to look at my deck estimation, make sure I have my index plays sharpened up. So obviously always try to make sure your skills are sharp. Make sure you're not missing anything when you're counting. Make sure you're counting accurately. Make sure your deck estimation is on point. Make sure you know your index plays. Make sure you know basic strategy. It's pretty easy, especially starting out, I think, to have a weird basic strategy play, like maybe soft 18, really against anything. It's intuitive against 7 or 8, but soft 18, it's easy to make a mistake there. It's easy to forget that, I need to double down against a 5 or a 6 or whatever, and it's easy to forget, I need to hit this against 9 through ace, because it feels weird and it looks weird. It might be easy to forget or tough to just not split your 8s against a 10 or an ace because it's scary and you don't want to put more money on the table, but make sure you're sharp with it. Second thing, make sure your bankroll is big enough to play. Because if you're really hurting after a loss and you don't think you can pay your rent and you're sweating over $300, $400, $500 or even $1,000, the reality is, maybe you shouldn't be playing yet. Maybe you need to save up some more. If that money's going to impact your life, don't play with it. But other than making sure your skills are sharp, say you went back and you evaluated everything honestly, That's important that you do it honestly. But after you've evaluated everything honestly, if you didn't make any mistakes, and you think you're solid, and you've had someone test you and you're solid, it's important, I think, to take a few minutes to breathe. I would suggest anybody, I suggest this to anybody, period, but especially to someone who's trying something as difficult and grindy and with as many swings as card counting and blackjack is, or really playing any casino game with an advantage or attempting to. I would suggest meditation. Before you go in and after you leave, sit down, close your eyes, focus on your breaths and nothing but your breaths. Focus on, don't focus on, but pay attention, and you'll probably hear some things around you. You might have some thoughts come to your head, and that's fine. Accept it. Acknowledge that you had the thought that distracted you from your breathing, and move on. And that's really what we need to do when we have a losing session or a losing streak, is just accept it and move on and continue on with our lives and continue on with playing with an edge. One myth that I think is out there that a lot of people believe is that card counting, advantage play, whatever kind of advantage play you're doing, that you are going to win every single time. And that's just not the case. You're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose probably at least half, if not more, of the times you go in. That's just a fact. Anybody who tells you otherwise, that's just wrong. You don't win every time. And so being able to accept losing is a big part of this. Being able to emotionally, financially accept losing, it's a part of gambling and advantage gambling. Say you're hole carding and say you've got this dealer and you can catch the hole card 100% of the time. 100%, meaning you never miss a hole card. You could still very easily lose. Just for example, say dealer has a 10 up, you saw the hole card and it's a 6. Dealer has 16. Normally you would hit your 12 against a 10, but it's 16, so you stand. And sure enough, dealer turns over their 6 and they pull a 5. 21, you lose. It happens. Or you could catch a hole card all day, but if the dealer's always got 19 or 20, you're gonna lose a lot of hands and a lot of money. That's just the way things go. I think I'm getting to the point of rambling now, but I guess to keep it simple, to keep it concise, understand that you're not going to win every time. Don't expect to win every time. That doesn't mean don't go in with confidence and the expectation that you're going to win money. But don't go in thinking every time you sit down at a blackjack table or every time you sit down at a 3-card poker table or whatever game that you found an edge on, don't think for a second that you can't lose. And make sure you're mentally healthy, physically healthy, all of that, because it's a big part of it. You're not going to be successful at this and you're not going to be on your A game if you are not mentally healthy. If you're suicidal over a $200 loss, you're not going to make it. If you are manic and just on top of the world and think you can do anything after winning $50 or $100 or $1,000, you're not going to make it. You can feel good about it, but when I say manic, I mean to the point of thinking you're a god and thinking that you cannot lose and doing things that you wouldn't otherwise do, overbetting your bankroll, etc. If you're too anxious to shove your top bet out there when the time is right, or if you're too anxious to take insurance because you're worried about how it's going to look, you probably won't make it. That being said, I'm by no means a professional. I'm by no means the most expert player out there. I just wanted to share my observations and some ways to think about and handle losing. It's not easy. All that being said, take care of yourselves. Make sure your game's sharp, and go out there and get dealt a bunch of blackjacks, guys.